This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishikesh.
Radio 1.
My guest of the day is here, and we're keeping it Oscar-centric because the awards are in progress as we speak. Aniruddha Guha is film critic and overall assistant editor at Time Out Mumbai. Other than that, he picks films for the Mumbai Film Festival. Aniruddha, how are you?
Good man, thanks a lot Rishi. This is a new experience for me because for years now I've woken up early in the morning and watched the Oscars on TV. This is the first time I'll be watching it on radio.
12 years or Gravity? It's a question on everybody's lips. There are predictions and there are personal assessments. Your thoughts?
You know, in the lead up to the Oscars, everybody's been picking 12 Years a Slave as their favorite. Now it's a great film, you know, what they've pulled off, the scale of the movie is fantastic. Personally though, I'm a little biased towards Gravity because for me Gravity is great cinema. To make a movie with purely two characters, minimal dialogues and just completely play with visuals and sound is fantastic, right? I mean, what is cinema if not visuals and sound? So for me, Gravity in every way is the better film. I think it's the best Hollywood film of 2013. And so I really think it should get the best picture. But that's really a personal thought. Let's see how things go.
The Academy has been negating or not choosing to accept sci-fi as a best picture winner for years and
That's
years.
true.
You know, it's always been a contentious proposition. Why do you think that happens?
You know, see, look, we need to understand the Academy is made up of a bunch of very traditional people, right? From whatever I've read, I believe these are Caucasian males who are 50 and above. Now, that's the profile of the Academy. Having said that, last year I believe a lot of people were up in arms against Life of Pi winning Best Cinematography because it was so high on visual effects. But you know that I guess with changing times they are going to be adapting to technology as well. But Gravity really, I mean, you're right about that, and I think Gravity is the best example of a movie that's high on technology, but at the same time sort of delivers the goods as far as storytelling goes.
Two categories that were given away for those of you who are driving and not able to catch the television broadcast. Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress. Now, Jared Leto won for Dallas Buyers Club for his performance as Rayon, and Lupita Nyong'o for 12 Years a Slave as Patsy. And the nominees for the Best Supporting Actor category were Barkhad Abdi from Captain Phillips, Bradley Cooper, American Hustle, Michael Fassbender, 12 Years a Slave, and Jonah Hill, The Wolf of Wall Street. And the Supporting Actress, the nominees were Sally Hawkins for Blue Jasmine, Jennifer Lawrence, American Hustle, Julia Roberts, August Osage County, and June Squibb, Nebraska. Talk about these two winners. Were they expected, or did you think that the Academy would have gone with the straight and narrow and Julia Roberts for August Osage County as opposed to Lupita Nyong'o?
I don't think Julia Roberts had a shot at all, in fact. These two pretty much were the favorites before the Oscars started, and Jared Leto was fantastic in Dallas Buyers Club. And that speech, you know, he started Oscar night with that fantastic speech and it just set the tone perfectly for the rest of the ceremony to follow. Lupita Nyong'o again has been a favorite, although I have a personal bias there because I'm such a big Jennifer Lawrence fan. But really, you know, I'm not saying this because Jennifer Lawrence is as awesome as she is, but she was fantastic in American Hustle. It was a really complex character, and in that kind of a cast, you know, it's an ensemble piece, 5 great actors, all of them really good roles. But I think she absolutely stood out. I really hope she would have won, but I think Lupita Nyong'o isn't such a bad pick either.
Overwhelming speech there from Lupita Nyong'o. In conversation with Aniruddha Guha, we're going to have more Oscar stuff up ahead. 9:11 in the morning, Aniruddha Guha is here. He's film critic and assistant editor overall at Time Out Mumbai, and he selects films for the Mumbai Film Festival. We're talking Oscars as they happen. Okay, now, the big argument again is McConaughey versus Caprio. Who's going to win in the best actor category? So talk a little bit about that. Your thoughts?
You know, Leonardo DiCaprio should probably be given an Oscar only for the work he's done over the last decade. I mean, starting with The Aviator and then going into Blue Diamond, Django last year. He's been.
The Titanic is a far cry. It's almost as though somebody else.
That was his. That was the film that was his poster boy moment. That was his Ryan Gosling moment in a way. But you know, he's delivered one performance after another, which he deserved Oscars for. I think Revolutionary Road is a movie he really deserved an Oscar for. But it would be a real travesty if he wins it for The Wolf of Wall Street. Not because he's not good in it. He's fantastic. But this is Matthew McConaughey's year, right? I mean, what a comeback. I mean, it's not right to say comeback, but it's really like he's sort of representing himself in a different manner as opposed to what he did earlier. He first came in a film called Mud, which went to Cannes and did really well, and then came Dallas Buyers Club, which got a lot of critical acclaim. He's currently doing True Detective, a show that's really popular. So it really has been McConaughey's year, and he really deserves to win. If DiCaprio does win, it would be similar to Scorsese winning the award for The Departed after doing the kind of work he did in Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, and Goodfellas. So I really do hope that McConaughey wins this time.
Tom Hanks fans would say it's been a snub. He should have been on this nominees list.
For Captain Phillips?
Yeah, for Captain Phillips.
You know, I'm not so sure about that. He was really good in Captain Phillips, but there have been some really other good performances that have been, sort of overlooked. There's Daniel Bruhl, who's been nominated in the Best Supporting Actor at the Golden Globes. But if you watch Rush, another absolutely neglected film at the Oscars this year, it's really Niki Lauda's story, right? And James Hunt is the guy who's actually who's playing the supporting role. Daniel Bruhl was fantastic in the movie. I think he deserved a Best Actor nomination, probably in place of Christian Bale for American Hustle. Then again, there's Mads Mikkelsen for The Hunt. I know it's not normal for the Oscars to nominate an actor from a foreign language film, but they've done it in the past. They did it with Marion Cotillard for Rust and Bone just a couple of years ago. So Mikkelsen could have made it. Hanks, I'm not so sure. It was a great year for him. He was really good in Saving Mr. Banks as well, but I don't think the nomination would have really worked out.
Best Animated Feature Film, Frozen has just picked it up, a Walt Disney production. Best Foreign Language Film, The Great Beauty has picked it up, the Italian film with Paolo Sorrentino. Now, as far as the animated film category was concerned, Frozen was up against The Croods, against Despicable Me 2, and Ernest and Celestine and The Wind Rises. So your thoughts on these two categories?
You know, Frozen is this massive Disney film that's done so well at the box office. It's that feel-good American film that everybody expected to win this year. And it's a great film. It's really, really entertaining. I haven't watched The Wind Rises, but people who have tell me that it's a brilliant film. It's apparently an animation film made for adults only, and that's really interesting, right? Frozen was always meant to be the favorite, and it won. As far as the foreign language film category goes, I think it would have come down between The Great Beauty and The Hunt, the film I spoke about earlier, where I said that Mads Mikkelsen probably deserved a nomination in Best Actor. But The Great Beauty, again, when I say Gravity is the best Hollywood film I saw last year, The Great Beauty is the best film I watched last year. I mean, period.
Mm-hmm. Best Original Song, one more from that category, The Moon Song from the film Her with Karen O on vocals. Here we go, 9:15 in the morning. Pictures of Aniruddha Guha will be up shortly at the rate of HRISHIKAY on Twitter. Aniruddha Guha is my guest of the day. We're doing live Oscar buzz on the radio as the ceremony is going on. And he selects films for the Mumbai Film Festival, is also assistant editor overall at Time Out Mumbai, and of course is a noted film critic. Okay, Ellen DeGeneres. What a fabulous gig she's having, man. She did this whole pizza trick where she got people like Martin Scorsese and Angie and Brad Pitt to sample some pizza, and got the pizza delivery boy his moment of glory by speaking to all these stars. Talk about her presentation this evening.
She's just hitting it out of the park, man. And when you talk about the pizza skit, the funniest thing she said in the end was when she didn't have the money to pay, and she's like, "Where's Harvey Weinstein?" And that's such great writing. It's such a good skit, and it's reaching its sort of fruition. It's been great, man. Ellen's just been on the ball from the very beginning. She did fumble a couple of times in her opening speech, but recovered really quickly. That selfie is now going to be the most tweeted picture of all time. I think she managed to get, and I think you need a host to be really charming to convince some people like Kevin Spacey, Meryl Streep, Brad Pitt, all of these guys to come together in the middle of a ceremony and pose and be so free and fun.
And just to fill you guys in, if you've been in the car and you haven't managed to catch that part of the broadcast, she did this, I think the biggest selfie ever in modern Hollywood history, where she got everybody to come into one picture, and she asked Meryl Streep to click that for her.
Yeah, but then eventually Bradley Cooper did it.
Bradley Cooper eventually did it. So, and it is likely to become the most tweeted picture in history, man.
And it's so much better than what James Franco did when he was obviously high at the Oscars 3 years ago. where he was taking backstage pictures of waiters and stuff like that. But yeah, this
He's
is
basically anti-establishment. Other than being high.
Of course.
Okay, best production design. Some big wigs there in the nominees list: American Hustle, Gravity, The Great Gatsby, Her, 12 Years a Slave, and finally The Great Gatsby. Catherine Martin, production design, and Beverly Dunn, set decoration, won it. Opulent, wasn't that film? Opulent.
Great Gatsby in the run-up to the film was one of the most hyped films of last year. I mean, just the fact that it's nominated in purely 2 categories is almost a surprise a year later, because I remember it was opening film at Cannes and there was a lot of buzz around it. Eventually, obviously, it didn't do that well at the box office. Now, also at the Oscars, but it's been nominated for costume and production design, won both. You're right, it was opulence at its best, and that's Baz Luhrmann's trait, right? I mean, as a director, you can see his stamp on all of his films. When you watch a Moulin Rouge, every frame is perfect, and it's the same with Great Gatsby.
Cinematography, the nominees were The Grandmaster, Gravity, Inside Llewyn Davis, Nebraska and Prisoners, and Emmanuel Lubezki won it for Gravity, and said very eloquent things about Alfonso Cuarón. Your thoughts on that?
Here we need to take a moment to just sort of feel bad for the Coen brothers and how they were treated at the Oscars this year. Inside Llewyn Davis's cinematography was fantastic. But I mean, a movie like Gravity, it's purely, like I said earlier, it's visuals and sound, right? And cinematography plays such a major role in making you experience all those emotions you do while watching the movie. Again, like I said earlier, last year when Life of Pi won Best Cinematography, there was a furor about how, it was heavy on VFX and stuff like that. I don't think that's even going to happen this year. I think it's everybody is pretty certain and pretty clear that Gravity is the one that deserved to win, and it did.
Okay, more from the original motion picture soundtrack, the original song of the year. This is Demi Lovato, and Demi Lovato with Let It Go.